Hi, this is Rabbi Aaron Dubinsky coming to you today from the Chut Shel Chesed Yeshiva in the holy city of Yerushalayim, under the direction of our beloved Rabbi and spiritual guide, Rabbi Shalom Arush. May Hashem bless him always. Today I want to talk to you about something that's kind of been stuck in my craw for the last week, and I want to get it out and lay it down before you and hopefully to open up some possibilities for you. In this last week, we wrote that Yaakov said to Yosef before he died, he said to him, I want you to promise me, make a solemn vow to me that you will not leave my body here in Egypt, that you will take it so that I'll rest with my ancestors in the cave of Machpelah. And Yosef took that very seriously, and it's exactly what he did. And Yosef, before he died, called in his brothers and said to them, promise me you will not leave me here, and you will take me back to the land of our ancestors. And although it was a couple hundred years later when they did it, they did live up to that. Now, a question remains. Yaakov's favorite wife was Rachel Imenu. Why did he not tell Yosef, oh, by the way, on the way, would you please pick up your mother, Rachel, and bring her with me so that she can lay with me? You have to remember that Yaakov had a lot of insight into the future. He had a nevuah. He could see the future. That's why it says when he met Rachel for the first time, he kissed her and he cried. And the reason he cried was because he could foresee that she would not be resting next to him for eternity. So, why didn't he rectify that at this point and say, please bring your mother along on the way? It's not that far. Just make a quick stop and grab her. But he didn't. So why not Yosef, who loved his mother so dearly? Why didn't he tell his brothers, please make sure that when you bring me back there, please, my mother was buried on the side of the road. It says she was buried on the side of the road. Bring her back with you, please. But he didn't. Which leads me to a question that came to me this week also. By the way, I'm going to give you the answer to that. The answer is, she was supposed to be right exactly where she was, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I had someone write me an email this week, and I was appalled. I wish I could remember the name, although maybe I'm glad I don't remember the name. This man said to me, what are you going on and on about, Rabbi? The fact of the matter is, Judaism is a religion for men, not women. And it's a good thing he wasn't standing next to me, because as nice as I've become over the years, I probably would have taken hands to this man, because it's the most ridiculous, stupid thing anybody could ever possibly say. There's a saying here in Israel. It says, Nashim malasot. Women, what to do? And the answer is, Ein malasot. There's nothing to do. You have nothing you can do. And you don't have to do anything. Hashem made them exactly to his specifications, just like he did everything else in the universe. It's very important we remember the importance of women. It says in the book of Yirmiyahu, the book of Jeremiah, it says, so says God, a voice is heard in Ramah. It is a sound of bitter weeping. Rachel is crying over her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children, for they are gone. So says God, withhold your voice from weeping and your eyes from the tears. For there is a reward for your action, he's saying to Rachel. And they will return from the enemy land, and there is hope for your end, promises God, and the children will return to their borders. It says Rachel is where she is because at that point she can watch as her children are exiled from the land and plead with Hashem to bring them back and welcome them back when they come back in. Torah tells us there is nothing in the world stronger before Hashem than the tears of a mother for her children. So at Rachel's death, she took on the responsibility of all of Yaakov's children and all the generations that passed that. She took on a tremendous responsibility, and she had the gall, I won't say the gall, she had the guts to come to Hashem and say, this is something I want you to do for me in the merit of what I did. What did she do? Well, if you remember, her husband, Yaakov, who was very much in love with her, worked 7 years to be able to marry her. And when the wedding night came, he ended up marrying her sister instead. This in spite of the fact, as the sages tell us, that there was a code between Rachel and Yaakov. So Yaakov and Rachel both suspected that Lavan, her brother, would probably try to do something that was unsavory, which he did. He substituted the wrong woman. So they had a code between them, so they would know each was the other. However, on the day of the wedding, Rachel felt sorry for her sister, didn't want her to be embarrassed, and gave her the code so that she could be married and she wouldn't be embarrassed, to the detriment of Rachel. This is an amazing act of kindness, the kind of which we don't see that often. And that was the merit which she was speaking of. But let's get back to this comment about the fact that Judaism is not for women. What is the responsibility for women in Jewish life? Well, they bring purity to the house. This is very good. It's one of the most important things. Harav HaKadosh tells us when we do our Hitbodedut that if we spend the last half hour only speaking about getting back and protecting our brit, that will get us everything in life we want. So apparently, purity is pretty important. They make the challah. They bring bread to the house. They bring bread, which is sustenance, to the house. This is also extremely important. What else do? They light Shabbos candles. They bring holy light into our house once a week, every week. It's their job. This is what Hashem gave them to do, and they do it very, very well. Now, I'm just talking about the spiritual. I'm not even going to get into the advantages of women in your life. Think about your grandmothers, your mothers, your aunts, sisters, even your children. How wonderful they are, and the joy that they bring into your life. It's like, without them, life would be like dinner without dessert. They are the dessert. They are the ones who bring joy into your lives on an unquantifiable basis. So women are extremely important in the Jewish religion. Oh yes, I should tell you one more thing that's extremely important. Zohar tells us that Mashiach will come in the merit of women. You should also know it tells us that Parnasa comes into your home in the merit of a woman. Doesn't say she goes out to work. You still go out and work, men. But it says in her merit, Parnasa comes into the house. So, how important are women in your life? Very important. On a spiritual basis, on a physical basis. Women are one of the most important things that you have in your life to keep your life going properly, to keep it going the way it's supposed to go, to make sure things go in your life the way they're supposed to go. You do the work. You do the hishtadlus. Hashem brings you to the results, and part of the results in your life is the Isha, the Eshet Chayil he has brought to you, and all the wonderful things she does in your life. This is what you want to make sure you take care of. Where I come from, down in South United States, there's a saying that says, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And there's a lot of truth to that. You want happiness in your life? You keep the women in your life happy. They will bring you what you need in the way of light, purity, sustenance, Parnasa. And yes, they will even help to bring the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu. Amen. Everybody have a wonderful week ahead, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week. Feel free to leave any comments on the site. Love to hear from you. Be well, my friends. All the best.